Hello again, YouTubers. Um, it's Monday. I'm gonna try and make these not only shorter, but a little bit more regulated in when they get posted. Um, so, over the weekend, my husband and I were out, and we were in the city, and a number 6 train came pulling up to the station, and it was covered in what I can only describe as a billboard, and not just one car, the entire train, on the number 6 line. And I find that strange for a couple reasons. I understand that the MTA is trying to gain money wherever it can, however it can, from absolutely whoever it can, but it's a subway. I mean, yes, people who are observant, who aren't in a rush, who aren't distracted by everything else going on, are going to notice it. Um, Probably only when it's stopped at a station for, all of a minute, but it's a moving billboard, is what it is. And I'm not knocking the idea of them trying to garner revenue given everything that's wrong with the MTA, not the least of which is the massive budget issue they're forever facing. But it's a poorly implemented strategy, if nothing else, because if you're going to do that kind of a thing, how many trains are there in the system? How many lines? How many different groups could you specifically direct market to? And you do it on one train, on one line. That makes no fiscal sense to me. It makes no PR sense to me. It makes no marketing sense to me. I'm not a specialist in any of these fields, but I am a specialist at being a consumer. So that's my opinion on that. I'm sorry I'm rubbing my face so much. I've been fighting a migraine all day. What else? Routine health maintenance. I was recently asked to outline what certain goals would mean to me, the definitions of them, as detailed as possible. And I haven't begun writing it up yet. I'm going to, if not today, tomorrow. And it forces you to stop and think about it, because I say I want to get healthy, but I have no structured explanation of what that means or how to get there. I have a vague ideology that it means losing a significant amount of weight, and I can give a number for how much weight I want to lose, but I haven't actually written out what that means, what that is defined as. So I have to do that. I also have to get together a bunch of paperwork that some I've been putting off, some I haven't, none of which I should be putting off, but it becomes very easy to say life happens, and events get in your way, and people get in your way, and in my case, very often it's just me getting in my way. And I have a long documented history of self-sabotage and self-destructive behavior. And every so often I climb out of it. I manage to crawl away from the hazy fog of screwing myself over and get a lot of remarkable stuff accomplished. A lot of that has to do with who I'm around or who I'm not around. A lot of that has to do with the time of the year, because I don't do well in winter. Again, I've never been diagnosed with seasonal affective, but I'm reasonably convinced I have some form of it, because I don't do well in the cold. Dark I do fine in. Darker days, nights, not typically a problem, but when it's cold is when I have an issue. It's like a hibernation response. That's the closest thing I can relate it to. What else? I don't know, there's only a couple of things really pressing on my mind right now, which is difficult even at that because migraines really, really screw you up. They really screw you up. If you've never had a migraine, thank whatever you can think of to thank. If you ever had them, I'm in the same boat. Other than that, I'm going to try and start keeping better recorded progress of whether or not I'm achieving these goals that I'm supposed to outline. And hopefully I will get everything in line. I'm one of those people who's very time aware, who's very life self-aware. Time passing, time not passing. I'm very temporally sensitive, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna try and include more of that information in the future. Not graphically detailed, but managed to lose this many inches, managed to drop that many pounds, kind of a thing. I'm also working on more of my baking efforts. That was the other thing. I've picked up a few new recipes, a few new recipe books, a couple new baking supplies, tools, I guess would be the right word. I've now forayed into making from scratch whoopie pies, which if you're from the Northeast, you know what they are. If you're not, it's kind of like taking two, probably about that big, cakes of really any flavor, but it's got to be cakey consistency, a little sticky even because it's super moist, and filling it with some sort of cream frosting. Traditionally, I think it's marshmallow, but you could flavor it absolutely any way you want. You could use ganache, you could use jam, you can use classic buttercream of any flavor or color. It's a lot like cake. There's a lot of ways to go with it. So I'm actually pretty excited about that for a couple of reasons, not the least of which is I am a huge whoopie pie fan, and actually so is my mom. We both have a real kind of Achilles heel for good whoopie pies. So I'm excited I'll be able to do that. And actually I found several recipes for vegan, gluten-free whoopie pies, which is not something I think until recently you'd ever would have seen. But I'm glad because it presents me with another option that I can make for family gatherings with Sam's family, because I know at least one relative has celiac. So that's good. Plus, they're probably healthier. I mean, in general, cutting back on gluten is probably a good thing for most people. Having less dairy and animal product. I'm not saying cut it out. I'm not militant like that. But, moderation in all things has always been the adage for a reason. At the moment, I don't know if you can hear it in the background, I'm running a cleaning cycle on our dishwasher. Preparing tomorrow's iced coffee in advance. There are some tricks I've retained from having been a barista ever so briefly. And just in general, trying to get my damn act together. So that's it for now. As I said, I'll try and be more detailed. I'll try and be more brief and concise, and I will try and include more information in the future. I will see you next time.